Hello, my dear students. Sharanu Sharanarthigalu. So, already we have started that the new chapter in the chemistry. All we know that is matter around us pure. So, in this chapter, we already started that separating the components of a mixtures. So, in this method, we are discussing fractional distillation. Today, we will discuss fractional distillation. It is the one of the method to separating the components of a mixture. So, here which are the things we can separating from the fractional distillation? This is the very important point. So, we are separating that a mixture of two or more miscible liquids whose difference in boiling points is less than 25 Kelvin. So, these are the important things which are miscible liquids. So, these are separating by the fractional distillation along with their boiling points. So, next we are discussing this detail. Just you observe that the figure of this fractional distillation. So, you observe here. So, we are fitted that thermometer, fractionating column, mixtures, round bottom flask, Bunsen burner, water outlet, water inlet of the condenser, and the last one is the conical flask, and we are using to fix to all these equipments by using of stand. Okay. So, now we will discuss the detail about this fractional distillation. Okay. Fine. The apparatus used for fractional distillation is similar to that used for simple distillation, except that fractionating column is fitted between the distillation flask and condenser. So, instead of this place we are using that fractionating column. The fractionating column has glass beads. So, glass beads means one above it has their glass beads are there, which increase the surface for the vapors to cool and condense. So, these vapors are cooling and converted into liquids. Okay. So, now you can see here fractional distillation is used for separating the components of petroleum. So, this petroleum is containing many components such as petrol, diesel, kerosene, coal, gas. Next, coal tar also we can get it from the petroleum. So, after these gases are separated by the using of fractional distillation method. So, petroleum is a crude oil or raw material having many components. These components we should separate it by using of which method here? Fractional distillation, and separating the different gases from air, etc. So, it is the one of the very best method to separating the component of a mixture which are in the miscible liquids. So, I think you understood this point. Next slide we will observe. So, next slide is showing that the separation of components of air. So, what do you mean by air? Air is a mixture of gases. We can say air is a homogeneous mixture because it containing many gases. For example, I will say here 21% of oxygen is there, 78% of nitrogen is there. So, 0.03% of carbon dioxide, dust particles and water vapor, then microbes. So, all these are present in the air. We can say that air is a homogeneous mixture or air is a mixture of gases. These components of air can be separated. Again, same method we will use, that is fractional distillation method. So, fractional distillation method also utilizing for separation of air containing the components. So, next we can see here air is compressed by increasing the pressure and cooled by decreasing the temperature. So, increasing the pressure and cooled by decreasing the temperature. So, the air is slowly compressible, okay, and to get liquid air or liquefied. The liquid air is then allowed to warm up slowly in the fractional distillation column. Then the different components separated at different heights of the fractionating column depending on their different boiling points. So, here flow chart it can be shows there the different components how it can be separate. So, we have taken air, that air is compressed and cooled by increasing pressure and decreasing the temperature, then it form into liquid air. Then this liquid air allowed to warm up slowly in a fractional distillation column. So, gases get separated at different heights. So, here given in the boiling points of degree Celsius. So, oxygen showing that minus 183 degree Celsius, argon is showing that minus 186 degree Celsius, nitrogen is minus 196 degree Celsius. So, this is the another best method to separating of components of air by the fractional distillation method. So, you are understanding very easily. So, now we are going to that next slide is that is purification of solids by crystallization. Purification of solids by crystallization. So, what do you mean by crystallization? What do you mean by crystallization? So, crystallization means you are very familiar this word. So, we are using these crystals in our everyday life. So, for example, salts are the crystalline state and sugar candy, so etc. are the crystals. But here diamond is also crystal, okay, fine. Now, crystallization is the process of obtaining a pure solid in the form of crystals from its solution. So, this is the only one method for getting the crystal by using of a solution. So, when the solution is containing substances, that solution is evaporated. So, lastly we can get it to the crystal like structure. So, this crystal like structure process is known as what you call crystallization. So, once again listen carefully here. So, what is the definition of crystallization here? The crystallization is the process of obtaining a pure solid in the form of crystals from its solution. Okay. For example, by crystallization we can obtain pure copper sulphate from its solution. So, actually impure copper sulphate is we are converted into pure form of copper sulphate. The formula of copper sulphate is CuSO4, mind it. Okay, fine. Next we are taken dissolve about 5 gram of copper sulphate in minimum amount of water. You are adding minimum amount of water, filter the solution to remove the impurities, evaporate the solution in a china dish to get a saturated solution, cover the solution with the filter paper and allow it to cool. So, pure copper sulphate crystals are formed. So, what is the color of here? Observe the color. So, impure copper sulphate is converted into pure copper sulphate crystal by the which method here? Crystallization. So, you are understanding very well. So, next we will discuss another one slide. That slide is types of pure substances. Already we have studied in the first chapter of chemistry in 9th standard. Types of pure substances. Pure substances are of two types. They are elements and compounds. They are the elements and compounds. So, first we will discuss element. So, element is a basic form of matter which cannot be broken down are break down into simpler substances by chemical reactions. So elements are the pure substances and elements are made up of their same kind of atoms. So elements are not decomposed into simple substances, or the elements are not broken down into simple substances by chemical reaction. So elements are of three types. They are metals, non-metals and metalloids. Is it clear? Metals, non-metals and metalloids. Now we will discuss the properties of metals. They have luster. Metals are the shining, twinkling. Then we can say that they have luster. And they are malleable and ductile. So malleable means what here? Making into thin wire from the metals, and ductile means here making the sheets. So this is the second property of the metal. They are good conductors of heat. They are the good conductors of heat and electricity. So you know that in our home we are using that copper wire, aluminum wire. So copper wire is a very good conductor of electricity. So we are utilizing in our home, and we are using that many utensil. So that utensil is made from the steel, iron, aluminum, then we know brass, bronze, all are there. So these are a good conductor of heat. These are made up of the metals only, and they are sonorous. They are the sonorous. Sonorous means making the sounds. Making the sounds are called sonorous. Okay. So example of metals are the iron Fe, aluminum Al, zinc Zn, mercury Hg, copper Cu, silver Ag, gold Au, etc. So these are all the examples of metals. Next we are discussing properties of non-metals. So what are the properties of non-metals here? They do not have luster. So you can see any metal, for example here oxygen, hydrogen, nitrogen, iodine, carbon, sulfur, phosphorus, etc. are there. So these are not have luster, and they are not malleable or ductile. We are not making the wire and not making the sheets. They are poor conductor of heat and electricity. They will not conduct electric current also, and next not conduct the heat also. They are not sonorous. They are not producing the sound. For example, hydrogen H, oxygen O, nitrogen N, iodine I, carbon C, sulfur S, phosphorus P, etc. So these are the properties of non-metals. And one more elements are there. Those are called metalloids. So what are the properties of metalloids here? Metalloids are elements which show some properties of metals and some properties of non-metals. So both together. These are also called as semiconductors. Okay. So both the character having elements are called the metalloids. So they behave like metals also, they behave like non-metals. Together they can be work. So these properties of metalloids are elements which show some properties of metals and some properties of non-metals. So examples are the boron, B, silicon, Si, germanium, Ge, etc. are the metalloids. So I think you have understanding easily from this slide. So next slide is showing that is nothing but compounds. So what do you mean by compound here? So you know that compound means it is a substance composed of two or more elements chemically combined together in a definite ratio or in a fixed ratio. So this is what you say that compound. So example, water, carbon dioxide, sugar, salt, iron sulfide, etc. So these are the example of compounds. Water is made up of two elements, those are the hydrogen and oxygen. Carbon dioxide is made up of carbon and oxygen. Sugar is made up of three elements, carbon, hydrogen and oxygen. So salt is made up of two elements, sodium and chlorine. Iron sulfate is made up of FeS. Okay. So these are the different types of the compounds which is composed of two or more elements chemically combined together in a fixed ratio. So these substances we can say that compounds. So now we will discuss the differences between the mixtures and compounds. So here given first mixture and later on we are discussing the compounds one by one. So first one, it is mixture. It is composed of two or more elements or compounds mixed together, whereas compounds, here compounds, it is composed of two or more elements chemically combined together. So mixtures are combined physically and compounds are combined chemically. So this is the first point. Second difference is the composition of the component is in any ratio. So it is not in the definite ratio, whereas compounds, the composition of the components is in a fixed ratio or a definite ratio. So here main point is here any ratio the components are mixed together, but in the compound it is in the fixed ratio or definite ratio of the components composition. So next mixture, third point, it shows the properties of the components. So components are mixed in the mixture, so they show their property, whereas compound, it shows the different properties than the components. So when they are combined with each other, then it shows that different properties than the component in compounds. Fourth point, the components can be separated by physical method. Easy methods we can utilizing to separating the mixture. That methods are called physical methods, whereas the components can be separated only by chemical method. These chemical methods are very difficult to separating the components, even though we can separating these things. So I think you have understood every point which are we have discussed in this class. So once again I will meet in the next class. So Sharanu Sharanarthigalu.